it's David coming at you from the Mobile Command Center of Affordable Locksmith, or the Redneck Office on Wheels, whichever one you want to call it. So this is day 2 of working on the Jeep. Here's a little video from the other night. Alright, so here's the hood after I frickin' hit it with the DA. Sanded on it for a while with 400 and then gave up with that and went to a 150 wetter dry, and it actually looks fairly decent at this point. Not a lot of low spots. There's a few just real minor. It needs to be built up just a hair so you don't burn through that primer. And let me tell you, that gun or the primer itself was a big huge waste of $50 frickin', because half of it, well, probably 90% of it ended up on the ground because it was so rough as a cob. It didn't flow out at all. But it does look pretty smooth. It's looking better that way. But I was really unhappy with either the gun or the primer. I don't know which one, but I painted some white primer on the side of this with the same gun, and it was fine, from TCP Global, and I bought this other crap from this company in Nashville. So maybe it's bad product. I don't know. You'd think when I thinned it down with acetone, it would help. Now I still got to wet sand the cowl. I haven't got to that yet because I spent so much freaking time on the hood. Although I am pretty happy with it. It's starting to look pretty nice. Really, those little burn throughs with metal are one more coat of primer should do it, as long as I can get it to flow out. If it flows out well, then we're in good shape. So that's the saga of today. We'll pick it back up tomorrow. There's not much else I can do today. It's about to rain again. So clearly I was pretty frustrated with the way the gun shot. That was crappy. It took forever to sand all that junk down, and most of the material that I put on was a waste because it didn't lay down like it's supposed to. I'm going to use my old gun. Today I've been cleaning out the garage, and I'm working on taking some stuff over to my storage building, like the front end tools that I don't use very often. I think storage units are funny because you rent one and it's like, oh yeah, it's $89 a month for this big storage building, and then in 3 months they bump it up to $99, and then now I'm up to like $150 a month. But then you got all this crap over there, and what do you do with it? You got to move it to another unit that they do it. It's a scam, man. I'm telling you, it's a scam. So anyway, I'm taking some stuff over there, and then we're going to head over to Harbor Freight Tools, the best that China has to offer in cheap tools for the American consumer that really doesn't care what kind of quality they buy. I got a lot of Harbor Freight tools, so we're headed over there, and it is in a sketchy area, and the area is kind of dying. It's funny where they put these Harbor Freights here in Nashville. If you live over there, you know, I'm sorry if you're offended that I said it's a sketchy area, but you know where you live. It's a sketchy area. So we're going to head over there after we go to the storage building. Alright, so I'm out near Harbor Freight. This is, when I said sketchy, this used to be Hickory Hollow Mall. It was one of the first malls in Nashville, that Rivergate. And they had such a problem with gangs and everything else. They're building a new Nashville State Community College, but it didn't open yet. And they had such a problem with gangs and shootings and knifings and stuff like that, man. I tell you, they ended up it became a dead mall. So Sears left, Penny's left, Dillard's left, all these stores left, and just left this big old empty building. So this is it. This is where they put the Harbor Freight when they put it in about 5 or 6 years ago. But you can tell that this is, you know, no weapons allowed on persons or in vehicles, zero tolerance. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. It's really sad. It was a nice mall. My mom worked here back in, golly, the 70s, 75, 78, somewhere like that. No, 76, I guess my mom worked here at Sears when I was a kid. Circuit City went out of business, couldn't support it. Best Buy went out of business. But here we are at Harbor Freight, and it is busy, and it was like 18 miles from my house. Okay, I'm headed back to the Redneck Garage after I left Harbor Freight. I I always feel a little dirty when I leave there. I was standing behind this guy, and he was arguing over whether he had a coupon. It was like $2, man, arguing over something. So I had to stand in line and wait for that, and I almost gave him the $2. Just said, "Hey, let me get out of here." So I bought a stand, which it's interesting. I bought 2 stands from Eastwood for $20, and those are like, good quality stands. They had these on sale for $15, and they're pieces of crap. But they're $15, and I can put my my board on it to hold my stuff while I'm working on something. I bought a little blowgun and some Torx fasteners, some security Torx bits. On your Jeep, you'll find that there's a few places that they used, and I couldn't explain why. They use a Torx fastener. If you're doing body, like the bars going across from the windshield to the back, they have a Torx bolt in the top of them, and I don't know why. So you can either knock that little tip out or grind it out, or get a little Torx fastener for $10. I bought the fasteners. They were out of the cups that I usually use, which is the main reason I went over there. But whatever. So we're headed back to Franklin. I'm hoping that it starts clearing up here and we can do a little bit of work. But I'm going to continue on working on cleaning out the garage and organizing some of the parts that have to go back on. So it's not a complete bust, but it is still raining like a dog. Okay, it's still raining outside. Been cleaning up the redneck garage. Still got some more crap out there to pick up. But anyway, here is the stand that I bought at Harbor Freight Tools today. And it was like $15.99 on sale. And what's funny is you can look at this stand and then look at the one I bought from Eastwood and clearly see the difference in the quality, how much bigger this one is compared to the $15.99 Harbor Freight. So that's what the Chinese do. They copy it but make it cheap. But for all intents and purposes, it'll work for us. So today I was going to talk about stripping the doors and getting them ready to paint, because the bodywork's coming along and we're going to have to shoot the doors. Now, what I would say is don't be that guy. Which guy? Don't be the guy that takes masking tape. You're going to go to all the effort to paint your truck, unless you're doing with Bedliner, one of those jack wagons. Don't take masking tape and tape around your door and your lock and then paint the stupid thing. That's just lazy as hell. You're spending all this time and effort into doing a paint job. You need to strip your doors down, take all the hardware out, and have the shell ready. And what's interesting is I'm going to show you something here in just a minute, what I found when I started taking it apart. Okay, so we got the gasket off and I got all the little connectors out. I've got a new one, so I wasn't worried about trying to save it. Now, just as a FYI, this is what happens when you let your truck sit with just a like a bikini top on it, like this vehicle did. It sat for I don't even know how long. They just had a bikini top on it. They didn't have a when I bought the truck, it didn't even have a top. So if you let your truck sit outside thinking that nothing's going to happen, this is where the water settled down from rain and whatever else, and then underneath that gasket it rusted to crap. So I'm going to have to let this dry out a little bit, maybe heat it up with a torch, and then see how extensive the damage is and treat this rust on the bottom. We're going to take off the latch assembly and everything else on this side here in a minute. On the truck I ordered a Bedliner Coating Kit from TCP Global. It was like 99 bucks, and it should have extra. And I'm going to use that to paint the back sides of the doors, both sides, and the tub on the inner portion of it. And if I have any left over, if I have enough left over, I'm going to go ahead and paint the inner fender wells with it, and maybe the step bars, depending on how it looks. Put that rough coating on the step bars because they're shiny. I don't necessarily like that. But this is just one of those things that you see that when people let their vehicles out in the weather, this is the kind of damage they get. And this one wasn't a northern Jeep. I can only imagine if it was up north like Canada or Michigan or somewhere like that, that this would just be completely gone. You just have a big hole in the bottom. So we're going to let this dry out a little bit before we do any work on it, and try to clean out some of this yuck, nasty crap. Okay, and while we're talking about rust, you can see some of it looks like it's internal. I want to talk about another product that I'm going to be using on the frame and inside the doors, and it's Eastwood's internal frame coating. You can see in the picture that it coats the inside, it stops the rust, and it also puts a protective coating on the, it encapsulates and seals is what it says. Now I've seen this stuff and it works really pretty well. It helps prevent the corrosion on the internal surfaces. So inside this door I'll be spraying some of this stuff. And the way that you get it in there is it comes with this internal spray hose that goes out like 180 degrees that attaches to the top of the can. So when you stick it in one of those holes and you spray it, it basically goes in all directions and it coats the inside of the doors. This one, on the way this panel is made, it's fused together. So there's no way to get apart. The doors themselves, you can get from in the backside a little bit, but on the tailgate, there's not much you can do. Okay, I took a grinder and then I got some navel jelly and put on there, so it's sitting there. And if you remember from our other rust repair video, it's only going to work on the surface rust, so you got to get down to pretty much where the rust is at. So we're kind of trying to get down to that portion. Okay, so here's the finished product of getting it clean and using the rust preventative on it. You can basically see that, and I'm going to let it dry out completely before I try to do any more treatment on it. But you can see that by the inherent design of this tailgate, there's really nowhere for the water to go except for get in that little crease, and that's what's happened is the water's run down in between the crease of the door panel and the outer door skin, and there's nowhere for it to go except to sit in there. So if you leave the top off and it stays wet all the time, then that's where it's going to rust out there. I'm going to treat it with something that I've had pretty good luck with in the past, and it's called Rust Reformer. And you can get this at AutoZone or Home Depot or Lowe's or anywhere like that. It supposedly converts rust into a paintable surface, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and treat this real well with Rust Reformer. After I'm sure that it's completely dried out, there's no more moisture in it, I'll spray the crap out of it with this, and then I'll use a little filler in to finish that bottom edge out. We'll let it rock and roll from there. Okay, to break up the monotony of showing this stupid tailgate one more time, I'm going to show you my LED light, and it is an Echo Zone. It's super lightweight. It was like $65 or something like that. But it's got a battery in it, and it's got a really long battery life, and super cool. No heat coming out. These are awesome. I've enjoyed using that thing. So that's the lighting. Okay, so I'm going to spray me on some of this Rust Reformer on the part that we've prepped before we put any Bondo on, and we're going to watch and see what happens with this. Now remember, I'm going to put it on pretty thick. This piece here is not going to be seen, so there you go. So we're going to let that dry. Onward, onward! I didn't think I needed to do a step-by-step how to take the door handle out. If you have any mechanical abilities, it's pretty simple. So take that part out, and then I'll take the hinge off, and then basically we'll just have the door shell to paint. And when you put it back together, it will be a nice, clear, clean line. Gare Bear came over.
Oh, get out of here.
Gare Bear's here. He's petting the Chihuahuas, man. See, Gare Bear likes the Chihuahuas. I do not.
Gary hates cameras too.
Yeah, no, he loves the camera. He loves the camera. It's too cold to be outside, man. It's terrible. It's terrible weather. It's terrible weather. Say hi to the camera, Gare Bear.
I ain't gonna say hi to the camera.
Come on, Gare.
No, I hate cameras.
Really? It's showing your good side.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You're showing your good side too behind the camera.
I still love you. Okay, so the weather hasn't gotten any better. In fact, it's gotten worse. It's still like overcast, rainy, and just cold. So I'm going to end the video there today. Got the back tailgate prep ready for sanding and filling that one bottom little piece. Shouldn't take long for that. We're going to be primering that last primer, hopefully, if my gun shoots smooth, the hood and the cowl section, and then we've got that one little back section to sand down and a couple of imperfections. Hopefully we're going to be getting some paint on the truck possibly this week. It's supposed to be in the 70s this week and really nice, so maybe playing hooky from work a little bit to get the paint shot on it. Moving right along though, David from Redneck Garage, keep sanding.